Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. So there is a brother of ours who did send me a message, and after that we spoke. So this is the translation of the messages that he sent to me. The message reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story? You can call me Samson. I used to be a very successful businessman when I was still back home. Even now that I am in South Africa, those people that I work with, my workmates, some of them that are South African, those ones, they find it very hard to believe that I used to own 10 pickup trucks and I used to own 3 bakeries when I was still back home in Zim. It is very hard for them to believe that a man that was so wealthy now is just working as a farm laborer, because now I am working on a farm. If you know a farm that is called ZZ2 farm in South Africa, that is where I am currently working. I always share with them my own story of how I was once rich, but now I am just working on a farm. So I used to own a lot of those pickup trucks back in Zim that used to transport the bread that we were making at our bakeries. I had 3 bakeries that were located in Harare. I used to supply everywhere. Any town that was close to Harare, I would supply in and around Harare. And there were a lot of people that were working for me a lot. But today, I am a poor, broken man. I lost my bakeries, I lost my cars, as well as my house. Everything fell apart after my wife had passed away. And when my wife passed away, indeed, I was so sad, because my wife, she was my rock. She was a prayer warrior. Even though we used to have so many challenges in our business, but because of my wife's prayer, the way that she used to pray for me, for the business, for her family, things will just work out no matter how many challenges we would face. But after my wife had passed away, I started to experience so many spiritual battles that I could not even handle on myself, because I was someone that would only go to church simply because my wife would want me to go to church with her. I was never a prayerful person. After I started to experience a lot of challenges in my life because of the woman that I was now dating, she was not a Christian. She would go with me to traditional healers. She would go with me wherever she would have been told that if you go there, you are going to get help. So I was mixing everything. People would pray for my business. I would go to traditional healers, to white and red garment prophet churches, just looking for any kind of help. But my downfall was because I was not a prayerful man. Maybe if I had kept on praying, going to the same church that my wife used to go to, maybe things would have gotten better. And whenever I think about it, I even suspect that they killed my wife, because my neighbors, they only started liking me soon after my wife had passed away. That was when they started visiting me. When my wife was still alive, they would even say that she was a witch. They hated her a lot. And because I started dating my neighbor's daughter, we became sort of like friends, and she was part of the reason for my downfall. My neighbors and my auntie, they were working together. And there was a time when it was a great year for me. I even managed to buy and build a house in Borodale. I was running my business successfully. I even had luxury vehicles. And my wife, suddenly, she fell sick. And she kept on saying, Samson, someone has bewitched me. We need to pray. And as a person that was so lazy, when it came to prayer, I'll just say, okay, let us pray. And I'll just pretend as if I am praying. And in my mind, I'll be thinking about ways that I could make money from our business instead of praying with my wife, because she kept on saying that the way that I am feeling sick, my spirit is telling me that there is one who has bewitched me. But I will just laugh and I will say that most of the Zimbabweans always blame witchcraft whenever they get sick. There is no such thing. We need to get you to the doctors. That is all that matters. With all the money that we had, my wife would say, you know, when someone is bewitched you, it does not matter how rich you are. You need to put your life into God's hands so that He can protect you, so that He can deliver you from the devil, who will be like a rolling lion, but I never cared. Whenever my wife would start to talk about God, I'll say that the doctors are going to make a plan. We will try to make a plan. So my wife passed away. After my wife had passed away, unfortunately, Brother Nashi, to tell you the truth, I did something that was so wrong, because 2 months after my wife's funeral, I then started dating the woman next door. I started dating her, even though I knew that she was quite a promiscuous woman, but because I had now became friends with my neighbors, and then I said, let me just continue dating their daughter. I did not want to embarrass them and to mess up the relationship now that I had developed with my neighbors, because they were also big business people as well as owning a small mine, and I just wanted to get into that mining businesses. So I said, let me try to get close to them. Little did I know that I was actually destroying my own life. As I was dating their daughter, that was when I started to notice that she was a woman who loved men. Whenever I would tell her that, look, if you are in love with me, I do not expect you. What kind of a person are you? Why don't you just get used to the fact that you are dating a man that is heartbroken because he lost his own wife, a man that wants your attention, that wants your love? How can you just go around sleeping around? These days, people are so sick. It's either someone is going to give you HIV or an STI. Just stick with me, as I will stick by you. We are not supposed to cheat on each other. She will promise me that, oh, I'm going to stop seeing that guy. It is only that before we had started dating, I was dating that guy, but now that you are in my life, let me just stop sleeping with him. Then it will keep on happening and happening over and over again, until when I said, no, I do not want to date you anymore. So she was beautiful, like really beautiful, and I refused to marry her because she was sleeping around. She told her parents, and her parents, they got so angry with me, and they were like, you were using our daughter, sleeping with him. She was cooking for you. She was helping your kids, because she would come, cook, clean, and return back to her parents' house. So they were like, you are supposed to marry her because she was performing all the duties of a wife. So you need to marry our daughter. And I said, I cannot marry her, because look at all the messages that I keep on finding in her phone, the pictures that I have seen of him sleeping with other men in different guest houses. She does not get tired. She still wants to grow up. So let her be, and let her grow up. When she is fully matured, then she can think about marriage. As for now, she is not yet ready, and I don't want to get sick simply because I want you to connect me with your businesses so that I can also start my own small gold mine. So they got so angry. In the meantime, there was this other auntie of mine who hated my wife like a lot. She never visited when my wife was still alive. After my wife had passed away, she started bringing herself into my life. She was my father's sister. She was staying in Murewa. And then she came and she said that I was supposed to marry that woman. Otherwise, it was not okay for me to be hated by my neighbors. And then I said, it is fine. And she gave that woman whom I was dating, the promiscuous one, some charms so that I can love her even more. That was when everything started to fall apart. My life started falling apart. My businesses were no longer making money, and everything was crumbling down to the ground. And when I saw that things were no longer going according to plan, I was always wasting so much money on fixing those vehicles that we were using to transport the bread. I said, let me bring in a partner in one of the bakeries. I even failed to make money to pay for that partner, so much that I told the partner that I was just going to sell the bakery to them. And what pains me the most is that the partner that I had brought into the business ended up having a very big business because of me. And then I was left with two. When I was left with two, I said, how about I sell the one bakery and then I remain with one and focus all of my energy on that remaining bakery? That was the biggest mistake. I sold it, and then I started selling my vehicles one by one. When things got so bad, Brother Nashi, I did not even have food to eat at home. I first sold the batteries of my vehicles, such that the day that I sold all of my vehicles, I sold them at a lower price, so much that I just accepted the offer and I said, let me move on with my life. My business had collapsed. I started staying at home, even looking for a job, and then that was when I said, let me sell this house. Initially, I was supposed to sell this house at a bigger price, considering the fact that I had built this house in Borodale. It is very expensive, but I sold it at half the price. The money that I had gotten, because it was very difficult to sell it, I don't even know why, it was just bad luck. I then said, let me go to Mozambique and buy second-hand clothes. It was one mistake after the other, one bad luck after the other, until I lost all the money. With everything gone, that was when I ended up in South Africa. Now I work on a farm here at ZZ2. My kids are suffering back in Zim. I have learned that there are other people that would only want to marry you for your money, and after that, when they see that things are not going according to plan, they will just dump you simply because I refused to marry a promiscuous woman. Then I got bewitched. It pains me a lot because even my auntie, she used to come and beg for me to give her money, and I would give her money. Yet she was the one who did these things to me. I don't even know why she bewitched me so that I can become such a poor man. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world.